Yeah, hi. I'm Sakthy. I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Beekwai. We work in the built environment and we're all about understanding the risk of your built assets. So things like bridges, tunnels, road, rail, that kind of thing. So we combine various data sources from sensors and satellites and human input as well. And then tell potential asset owners, construction companies, and things like that about any structural or ground risks that might come in the future for their asset.
Excellent, thank you. Nico, if you could go up next.
Hi, I'm Nico. I'm co-founder and chief operating officer at Nami Surgical. We're a Glasgow-based company. We develop high energy instruments, particularly ultrasound technology for robotic assisted surgery. We're an intersection as a B2B. We develop technology for strategic partners, and we've got a full design house here at our headquarters. We design, develop, prototype, and test in our operating room.
Great, thank you. And John, if you could introduce yourself.
Sure. So I'm Jonathan. I'm Chief Strategy Officer at a company called Hypermotive. Hypermotive are integrators or system integrators of hydrogen fuel cell systems into end applications like trains, trucks, ships, and so on. A team of electrical, electronic, and software engineers. We have been developing our own products to complement a services-based business and pivot us a bit into a products-based business to help us scale and grow and extend our reach.
Thank you. Well, John, seeing as you spoke last, I'm gonna jump on you first. Could you talk a little bit about what brought you to the program in the first place? What incentivized your applying?
So I think I guess on a personal level, I am always looking to learn and grow, and I think one of the key things is it's an ideal program for those that are looking to grow their own capabilities and ability and expertise, particularly around gaps that you recognize that you have in roles that you're undertaking. So moving into a C-suite role in a business means that you are becoming a lot more the conductor of the orchestra, perhaps, than one of the players within it. And you have to develop a new range of tools and knowledge and expertise around areas that perhaps you aren't so familiar with. And that's one of the biggest challenges I found, certainly moving into that role. And this looked like a great opportunity to broaden that experience and particularly with the additional funding for some personal training, to then go and do some focused training on areas that I was not so strong in.
And Sakthy, you're coming in as a founder, so I wonder if you had a slightly different attraction yourself to the program.
Yeah, I mean, similar to Jonathan, I think it should be stressed that like the program is about personal development for you as a person, as not just the company. So you can take that with you where you go. But as a founder, for me, my own background, I've worked in big corporates before, like major multinational civil engineering companies. I've worked in academia, and both of those are very different environments than starting your own company and creating something from scratch. And then, the next bit, scaling it, is especially hard because all of those little things that you find in big companies, creating the processes or understanding the culture, you're kind of driving that. And any problems that do come up, they're like multiplied by 100 times, right? Like one difficult person in a company of 10 to 20 people is huge disruptor to the business. And so being provided with some understanding of not just, like enterprise level training through the kind of external training that we can get, but like within the program being shaped around the cohort and understanding, okay, what are the potential challenges we have specifically in that very challenging spot between starting a company and then trying to get it to grow. That was quite appealing to me.
Great, thank you. And Nico, you're an academic founder, so slightly different question. What do you feel was the biggest impact that the program was able to have on you?
I think so. To put it into perspective, I think our company was growing super fast, and I felt like we're missing knowledge gaps. So we moved from being like a solo company pretty much to being like 15. So when you talk about like scale up, what are the problems? What are the challenges? So I felt we were in a very particular situation with my company where we needed the sort of like step out of the academia comfort zone and learn about like the industrial challenges, but also learn from peers that already faced them. So I felt like I was missing something, and that the program was offering all these things beyond and above. So I felt like it was an important moment for my company. We were about to enter into strategic partnerships. I was not ready to negotiate contracts. At that moment, I was also CEO of the company. And I felt like, oh my God, the program has everything I needed. So for me, it was like very special. I think I grew together with it.
Great. Well, John, same question. What were you, what was the biggest impact that the program was able to have on you yourself?
So I think yeah, I think really it was a big impact, I guess, both from sort of a very personal perspective. I think one of the key things was the really first that really first came to sort of prominence for me was during the interview, actually, for the application process, where the interview panel made it very clear that this was a program for personal development as well. And it was with some really sort of targeted questioning around, where do you see you going next? What are the things you're thinking about for your next move after this? I.e., is this a role for life? And it sort of reframed what the program was, which initially had been in my mind very much about supporting the business scaling and growing, which is absolutely what it is. But then it was also got to the point of giving me the time to reflect and ask myself the questions of actually what is it that I want to do next and what are my next steps going to be. And between the coaching that the program provided, with the one-to-one coach, and then the training, which also brings in lots of ideas. And I think one of the comments I made, and I think many others, Sakthy and Nico, probably felt much the same, was in many cases, a lot of the stuff that you were being presented with was stuff when you look at it, you go, yeah, I sort of already know that, but you've never had the framework and the tools laid around that to be able to take that knowledge and apply it into the space that you're working at. So some of those tools and frameworks I then found really useful to take back to the team, and sit down with them, because sometimes trying to do strategy with a team when they're all running around with their hair on fire can be can be quite a challenging experience. Let's sit down and plan what the future looks like. But there's a massive problem, and getting that focus, because suddenly you've got some tools which are really effective to go back to the team and go, right, let's just focus on ABC today. That was very powerful, I think, for sure. But very much it was that reflection that what is it that I want to develop in myself, and then recognizing, well, actually that's going to value the business as well anyway. I'm not just doing it for me, but actually by making myself better, I am therefore going to be far more valuable to the business. I think is a very powerful sort of reframing of what this did.
Yeah, and that's a great point, and potentially a slight side note from me. We, the Academy and the program, we support individuals on their journey. It doesn't matter how your business goes on to do, as long as you continue to engage with us. We've existed for 11, coming up for 12 years now. There's an alumni community of 500 or 600 people. You can tap into that. And as long as you continue to engage with us, we can continue to support you on your journey, be it with the company that you are with today, or a company that you go on to found, or another one that you go on to join in future. So Sakthy, maybe a slightly different question here. Were you able to see any changes in yourself going through the program? You mentioned there is a focus on the individual. We hope to help you become the leader that you aspire to be. Do you see yourself slightly differently today than you did before the start of the program?
Yeah, I mean, as a company, we've been on like an accelerator or two here and there, and that's focused, as you said, focus around the business. This focusing on me was, it did reframe how I see things, and especially, founder in smaller companies spins a lot of plates, doing a lot of different things, and it's often, as Jonathan said, like running around with your hair on fire. And so I think this was a chance to reflect on myself and how how I am interacting within my little ecosystem. And things like, in addition to the training courses and the course material, you have coaching and feedback sessions as well. So I think having that, like the coaching for me was like transformational, and that it also taught me how to coach my team, and get them. So me looking at myself, them looking at me, and them looking at themselves were also quite useful. And then having the kind of one-to-one feedback sessions after each kind of module that we did was also quite useful, because it helped me, in a helpful environment, reflect on how things have been going, what I've been doing, how I'm interacting with that, rather than just trying to survive day to day. Okay, here's all the things I need to do. Let's go do.
Yeah, and that's a great point. And maybe you talk a little bit about how you spent your grant. Obviously, you've got £10,000. Everybody spends it in different ways. How did you choose to use that?
Yeah, I guess it should also be said that I joined the program and I had just come back from a period of maternity leave, which is incredibly challenging as a founder, as you can imagine. And so some of this was also like supporting me regain my founder identity with this new mindset. And so in my case, I wanted to do courses which either gave me a little bit of flexibility. So I did a couple of courses that were online, but facilitated really well, so that there's quite a lot of like do the material and then have these engagement sessions. And then I'm based in Cambridge, so I went to a couple of courses in the Judge Business School, which was also great. So much smaller, but like very interactive as well. So it gave me a kind of blended opportunity to do different courses, but around the kind of my new outside of work reality.
Yeah. And John, I know you had a similar approach. You split your 10K up and spent it on a few different courses. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, absolutely. They were courses which either sort of again gave me tools and framework. So I guess my role, I'm chief strategy officer, been strategy director before that. I haven't had formal training in the world of strategy and strategic business development in that sense. I came from a consultancy background, an engineering background, obviously, in a consultancy, and worked up to chief engineer level, and putting programs together and all that kind of thing, and had been moving into a more strategic role. But really, everything I did was sort of, I sort of devised and developed from the ground up myself, coming into how do I make a strategy for a business? Okay, I think I'll do this and this and this. So one of the courses I did was with Warwick Business School, actually, who did have a site in the Shard in London, and that really was a strategy execution course, which gave me a lot of very good practical tool sets around what I'd already sort of been learning the hard way myself. And it was over 4 days, basically a week in London. And that was a really, really intense, very good course. Actually, the course team on that were brilliant, and they got some really interesting people in as well to share their experiences. And again, it's sort of you're with a cohort of, I don't know, 15, 20 people during that week. So again, you build up another network, which also has been valuable. There's a few connections from that network that I stay in touch with and still bounce ideas off. And then the other thing was looking at gaps. So I don't have a strong finance background. Actually, really understanding financially how businesses work was quite important at the role I'm now in. Whereas I'd known how finance works on a project level for a long time, but understanding balance sheets and all that kind of thing hadn't been necessary. So, moving again from a consultancy role that works with large multinational OEMs down to where I'm working very much in a dynamic scale-up environment. You need a very different view on finance in that scenario. So that was really helpful as well. But yeah, so I found taking little courses here and there to sort of accentuate or add on to my skill sets was really useful. Like you say, though, I know others did jet off over to the other side in the US and things, and did a week at Harvard and so on when they thought that was what they really wanted to do. So it was interesting seeing how different people chose to do their training.
Yeah. And Nico, same question. You're coming from a slightly different background. How did you make use of the £10,000?
So for me, I mean, I recognized quite early on, even in the application for the accelerator, that I had a massive gap in commercials, and I was thrown into conversations with big strategics, and I will find myself with no guns to operate in those conversations, and I was negotiating deals, but I wasn't. I was always thinking I didn't get the best out for the company, and I was fascinated by the art of the words that were used against myself and the company, or listen like to lawyers talking about stuff. I was like, how do they do that? So I was really committed to use this £10,000 to learn how to negotiate and make quick decision making and decision making on the spot. So I was lucky enough to go to Harvard Business School, and I did a course that was negotiation and quick decision making. That's the title. It runs 3 times a year. It was best experience of my life. I got thrown into basically a pool of 100 people, senior executives from around the globe. But the best thing about the course was once you get there, you lose all your credentials. Doesn't matter if you are VP of engineering at Google, you become a number basically. And the course, I mean, probably the actual material to study was very little, probably an hour per day, but it's all on a case basis. So you get face-to-face challenges and you try the cases against these senior executives, but then maybe you're in the position where you are their CEO, you need to negotiate their salary. And it was so good. It was life-changing, I would say. It gave me so much confidence in myself, and you can go to a negotiation with a perfect plan. I used to be very analytical, analyze everything, all the data, and then go there and then get lost in my own numbers. But now it's more like about the people, knowing the person you're facing against, what are their problems, and then there's always a solution where we can both agree. So, and create optionality when you see just black or white. For me, it was life changing, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, that's great to hear. So another one, while I have you, Nico, were there any unexpected benefits that you walked away from this program with?
The coaching, just because I think I had bad experiences in the past, and I'm also a coach myself for sport. But when I heard that there was one-to-one coaching, I was like, oh my God, I don't need to hear about someone else telling me stuff about my life. But actually, again, I think Sakthy mentioned is very about yourself. So the program is focused on this common theme across all the topics, which is leadership. And leadership, you can come back with all the problems you have, but you always come back to people. And made me know myself better, my style, my like how I interact with people, what do I say. So the coaching actually, from a very skeptical start, tend to be one of the best things I took out of the program. Um,
Fantastic. Sakthy, I'm going to come to you next. I think you've talked a little bit about unexpected benefits, so I'm going to throw you under the bus and say if there was one highlight of the program, what would you say it was?
One highlight is quite hard, isn't it? I guess like let's set aside the kind of obvious like content and things you learn. Um, Again, having been through programs and things before, I don't think I was expecting to resonate quite so much with the cohort itself, and have that like community of people at different stages, but also like just having similar life perspectives and challenges and things, and having people that you can like get support off of and lend so much of a networked view from. And then even beyond that, like I mean, I know the Royal Academy of Engineering has a lot of opportunities and things, but just realizing all the things that go on and all the different opportunities, I think that's kind of, yeah, just opened my eyes a little bit.
Great. And John, same question. What was a highlight for you?
Apart from all of it, actually, I found it really good. I really enjoyed the course. I think it's a combination of both Nico and Sakthy, to be honest. The cohort was brilliant. I think having that connection with people where we'd get together, every month through the start, I sort of really missed it when it dropped off in the second part of the course. But we have tried to stay in touch and we still meet up, which is good. And likewise, the coaching, I think, between the first start and the questions and then the coaching really sort of supported me into thinking about myself And I'm not really very good at thinking about myself. I'm very good at thinking about other people. And I think getting me to think about myself for a bit, not in a selfish way, but in a sort of, how actually can I be the person, how can I direct my life where I want it to go, rather than just sort of following where it ends up, which I've often done. I think that was really helpful.
Great. Well, I'm going to wrap up the recording just now. For anybody who has questions, I'm Dan. It's the Shott Scale Up Accelerator. I can share some information at the end of the recording, but I will pause things now and open things up to the floor for anybody who has questions.